good. You good? Go.
Call this work session to order. At this time, I'm going to ask Councilwoman Jackson if you would please go give us an indication and let me apologize for my tolerance. Go ahead.
Heavenly Father, Lord God, we just thank you. Lord God, we just thank you for your grace and mercy. Lord God, we just thank you for being King of Kings and Lord of Lords. Lord God, we thank you for being gracious and merciful, long-suffering. Lord God, we just thank you for being our King and our Redeemer, our Lord and our Savior. Lord God, we just thank you because this is the day that you have made. We choose to rejoice and be glad in it. Father, we give all of our cares to you. You said if we would cast our cares upon you, that because you care for us, Lord God, that you would hear our call, Lord God, and you heed unto us. Lord Father, we just cast every petition, Lord God, that we have before you for the city of Selma, for the citizens of Selma, Lord God, and we just ask you to do what only you can do, Lord God. We ask that you work in and through your leaders, Lord God, for good and not evil. You say your thoughts towards Selma for your people are good and not evil, to bring us to an expected end. And Father, so we're standing on your word this evening. We incline our ears to you and we yield our members to you. It is in Jesus' precious, holy, and righteous name that we continually stand, that we continue to pray, and that we believe we'll be delivered. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen. Thank you, Councilwoman.
Good afternoon, Ms. Sheldon. How are you?
I'm good, how are you?
I'm doing well. Congratulations on your newfound certification associated with the Selma Ongoing Education Department.
Well, I guess we have two birthdays up here today.
Yeah, we have
We have Councilwoman Benjamin yesterday. Okay, she just reached, I think, the tender age of 21.
Y'all reading me?
Okay. And Councilman LaShore birthday is today. I think he's 22 and a half. To the citizens' request, Mr. Tony Brocknett and Mr. Terrell Marshall. Mr. Brocknett? Please come forward.
Right here.
Also, Councilman Carl Bowling, White's birthday.
Yeah. Thank you for acknowledging that. Thank you for getting killed. You can talk loud.
It'll be okay. Again, my name is Tony Broadnex. I'm here on behalf of the Selma City Vikings. We are a semi-pro football team right here in the city of Selma. This will be our second season here in Selma. And what we're here to talk about today is continual use of the stadium, Memorial Stadium. We had a formal agreement with the mayor and Sean Van Diver, but we noticed that Van Diver stepped down from being over Parks and Recs, but we wanted to continue to make sure everything was in good standing with us in the city of Selma, so that's why we're here.
Okay. So we got authorization from
The mayor and Van Diver, so.
Councilwoman Tony.
I ain't going yet. What was the agreement? Was it a written agreement?
And that's the whole problem. When we got the agreement last season with them, there was no written agreement, and when we heard that he stepped down, we came running, and Mr. Bowie, I called him, and Ms. Ivy, trying to get on the phone with everybody that I could to make sure that we still had a stadium to participate in.
You are correct. That is the whole problem. We operate on contracts. We operate on written agreements. We operate on things coming to the council. And I'm not sure if you were aware. You said this is your second year.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you were aware. You were rather supposed to come to the council.
We stood in front of the council last season.
And the council approved.
First, we knew the council approved. That's why we're here, again, that's why we're here today.
But
We
you don't have a written agreement,
No, we
correct?
do not.
Okay, and this is to save you,
When they defeat.
Hold on, Councilwoman,
this is to save you in the future, a headache or having to, you run around from department to department, sounds like, and to save you. So in the future, contracts come to the council. That's just period. That's just how it works. When we're long gone and the Vikings are still going on, this council right here is long gone, just always come back to the council, and this is not on you, because you didn't know, you don't know what the policy is, but the people who allowed you to do it knew what the policy was. So this is just to save you long after we're gone, just always come back for the written contract.
Yes.
And then you won't have all this headache running around.
Yes.
all right, Councilwoman,
Thank you. Oh, well, I'm so glad you came before us. I'd like to hear just a little bit briefly about your organization. We would like to support it and encourage the community to be supportive.
Yes, because last year, we wasn't supposed to start up until this season, but because the mayor asked us to start up last year, we went ahead and started up last year. Because when we came to them about the whole semi-pro team here in Selma, we're trying to cut off the tunnel from high school to jail. We're giving these guys something to do.
Thank you. Thank you.
And what we do is we take kids like the ones I have behind me right here, and these are some of my guys that actually play for me. Some from Selma, some from Montgomery. We got kids from Selma, Montgomery. We got kids on our team from Billingsley. We got kids on our team from Dallas County, Maplesville. We got kids from all over the area playing right here in Selma. And again, this is our second season. We wanted the support last year. We thought we was gonna get the support last year, but we didn't.
I don't think we knew about
We
y'all.
didn't.
See, the council didn't even know. Okay, have you plugged in? One more question, Mr. Broadnax. One more question. Have you plugged in with Michael Johnson?
No, we have not.
I really recommend you do that. These are things that he loves. And, I think that he would really like to do that. I mean, I can't speak for him, but I would recommend your trying,
Okay.
please. But anyway, young man, congratulations on being involved in this. Stick with it. I think this is a great thing. And y'all are helping Selma. I want to come watch y'all play. And could we get a schedule as soon as you have one?
We definitely will get schedules in hand this year, and for everybody that wants one, we tried to get them out last year, but the league that we played in didn't get the schedule done until last minute. It was too late to kind of get everything out. So we got what we could out in barbershops and stuff like that, but it's a hard process. Just starting up out of nowhere.
well, I guess maybe what you can do is take it to the local radio stations, and also maybe we can put it on the pig channel.
We've actually done interviews with Selma Sun, been in the paper numerous times with them. I forget the name of the station out on Summerfield Road.
WALX or
We've
WJM?
been on interview with those a couple of times as well.
I wanted to ask you a question because I believe in what you do, and I like the style you say you're trying to save the youth. You're trying to save, and that's a good thing. But my question is, you say you've been, this is your second year or third year
Second year here in Selma.
here in Selma. Could you tell me, who sponsored? Who sponsored you guys?
We are a self-sponsored team.
You a self-sponsor?
Meaning by that, money comes out of my pocket and these young men's pockets right here. They actually pay to play football, to get seen by somebody else.
We didn't know that.
They actually pay to get put on a platform to go to college, arena, or even one day maybe we'll get a player to get to the NFL, but right now we haven't.
What's your age?
18 and up.
Bad admission. Councilwoman Jackson.
Mr. Burns, thank you for coming, and truly, the school to prison pipeline is real. It's evidence and data to show that, and so whatever you can do to stop the flow, we appreciate here in Selma and Dallas County. I want to make sure to let you know to get organized. There's funding available for these type of preventative programs to help our youth all over, federal funds, state funds. So I wanted to ask that, but I wanted to know specifically what was your agreement last year? So what was your understanding of the agreement last year? Because we don't have anything, we don't know anything, and if we're going to look at following through or acknowledging the agreement, we need to know what it is.
And that's fine, that's why I'm here.
Okay, so what
Well, last year they allowed, Sean Van Diver and the mayor allowed us to use the field for free. Because again, we don't have sponsors.
okay.
We don't
Football
have,
field?
yes, the football field
What
is
days?
only on Saturdays,
Only
Saturday nights. That's the only
Saturday
time, yeah, that's the only time we've used it.
What was it?
See,
How many times?
season starts in March to May. Because no,
Every Saturday night?
not every Saturday night, because we have road games as well. Sometimes we might be in Georgia, sometimes we might be in Florida or Mississippi, depends on where our schedule takes us. But we have 5 home games, 5 away games. That's regular. That's 10 games regular season, yes.
Okay, so 5 games between March and May,
Yes.
and that's Memorial Stadium. Is anything else that they allow you to get in practice time?
Well, we practice outside of the stadium on the practice area on the side.
And so your only agreement was to have the
The use of the stadium
5 nights
5 nights a year.
between the March and May.
Ma'am?
5 nights between
March and May, yes.
Anything else, Councilwoman Jackson?
And I also want to say this year might be a little longer because we got a great team coming through this year. I want everybody to come see them. We actually have a roster. We was planning on carrying 50 guys this year, but we've already exceeded that number. We're like 55, 56 players this year. So we might end up getting a playoff spot this year.
Great. Councilwoman Benjamin, I think you have.
Mine went after he
Okay,
did.
sorry. Councilwoman.
What's your
Jackson.
record last year?
Last year we was 3-7. 3-7 last year. But that was all because we started up late, got players late, everything started up real rough last year. We wasn't planning on starting up to this season here, but we jumped in the fire because he wanted to do something for the community, for these kids here.
Well, I do think you need to realize this council wants to support you guys. But we want to do things according to the policies and the rules. So whatever we can do, I think we're gonna reach out and do what we can.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Benjamin.
That's basically why I had my hand up, what Councilman LaShore said. We do want to accommodate, we want to support, we want to be present and all of that. We just want to go by the policy. Thank you for bringing the young people here. And what school are you all from?
I'm from Lanier, Montgomery.
Lanier? Who else? What school are you from?
Lanier.
Southside? Selma? And then the young man with the nice braids?
Lanier.
Lanier, okay. Lanier, Selma, Southside. And you have schools all the way from, it seems like all the way from the east to the west.
Yes, we got kids from Village City, Dallas County, Keith. We haven't got anybody from Francis Marion yet, but we're still trying.
Well, I do appreciate it, and let me commend the young men for coming out of their pockets, for doing something that they want to do. You actually came out of your pockets and you paid for it. Usually folks are coming here and they ask us, fund us for this and fund us for that. And I didn't hear you say that one single time. You just asked for use of a facility because you need use of a facility. But I'd like to help in whatever fundraiser you come up with, so that your pockets are a little bit lighter, young people. So I would like to help in whatever fundraiser you all come up with. If you could give us heads up, a flyer, whatever it is, email us. We'll give you information to contact us through the president, and he'll get us the information. But I would like to help make the young people's pockets a little bit lighter. We are definitely, I believe this council is going to, as a unit, accommodate the practices and not the practices, you practice outside.
Yeah.
The games.
Yes.
And you said there may be more than 5 this year, and it's on Saturday, yeah.
I think we can just move forward with the consent agenda, put it on the consent agenda, and vote and move forward with these reports.
I agree.
All right? Anything else? Councilman?
What's the, what, do you charge a gate fee to get in?
Last year we charged $5 to get in,
Just $5?
just $5.
And did you have any conversation with the mayor and Van Diver when they allowed this to happen about selling the sponsorships or trying to get banners on the field or around the field or anything like that to kind of help you guys out a little bit?
Yeah, we're still working on a 501c3 to help with funding
I
and
got
all
you.
of that right there, sponsorships.
Right.
Again, everything started a little late, that's why we're working so hard this year to get everything done before the start of the season.
Of course, you can get sponsors without having a 501c3, did you know?
Yeah, well, and have you got, excuse me,
Go ahead.
have you got anybody to help do programs, ministerial things, that
Exactly.
you could sell ads and things like that?
We do not. We reached out to the public doing, via Facebook and Instagram and places like that, trying to get help, even coaches. Right now, we only have 3 coaches to help with these guys, but up until now, we have nobody. We don't have anybody to run our Facebook or anything like that. We're doing everything ourselves.
What's your Facebook name?
Selma Shield.
Shield as an honor.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm gonna look it up tonight. And share it.
Please do.
How soon will you probably have a schedule?
Say again.
How soon will you probably have a schedule for this?
As soon as the league drop the schedule, we'll get stuff printed up and get it to you.
Any other questions?
It's supposed to drop December 5th.
Okay, all right. Thank you. Any other questions? All right, thank you, sir. I'm gonna ask Mr. Dale Purdy if he would come up. I was getting off the elevator, didn't know anything about, you are supposed to come before us tonight, but, please come.
That came last.
Actually, you can bring them up, but that was my agenda item.
Okay, bring him up, come
Okay,
on.
that's fine.
Bring him up.
So council, trying to be solution focused and giving us options. I know that the last time we met, we were discussing that we had all been inundated with the amount of trash and the calls regarding the trash on our streets. Councilwoman Thomas and I went to, and Youngblood went to a training in October, and we were informed at that time, we got an opportunity to see vendors at that time, and I was asked to contact some of those vendors and share with them some of the issues that we were having. And so I wanted to start with our owner. I reached out to Mr. Purdy, and he made me aware that the owner of the company would actually be in town this week. And so we've met, and they could share some information with us about what they could possibly do for Selma regarding trash pickup. You know, they already pick up our garbage, but what they can do for Selma regarding trash pickup in this time, in the interim, or on a longer basis if needed.
Perfect.
First, good evening.
Good evening.
Appreciate the opportunity to speak before you all. We was approached by Councilman Jackson about the trash pickup, and we did consider it and came up with some rough ideas. You want to speak on this?
Yeah, first of all, we want to thank y'all for being on board. We want to thank y'all for being on. Better?
It's an honor.
They tried, Tony, Rodney's tried to do it, really. It's on.
Yeah, that's one.
Good evening, how's that? Is it better? First, we want to say thank you all for being one of our largest customers, and we certainly value the business and being able to be a community sponsor to this event. We had just spoken to the gentleman about the football team. We're going to help sponsor their team as well.
Wonderful, thank you.
So, Ms. Jackson had asked me, to kind of talk about the problem with the trash pickup, and it probably might be helpful to define the difference between trash and garbage first, right? We're talking about the garbage is what we pick up in the carts. We're picking those up each week. And then trash, you're talking about bulk trash like couches, refrigerators, brush, right? Okay.
Actually, people put all that stuff out there, but the law's really clear. People are putting stuff they're not supposed to.
Yes, ma'am, that's correct.
And I had begun having training in my ward with that a little over a year ago, but then it just became just not feasible at all because we didn't have trucks, then we got trucks, and we don't have people. So just being just helter-skelter, I just thought, well, when we get all our ducks in a row, then I'll tell them that. But I mean, it's the law is real specific, and you're not supposed to have sticks wider than however many inches in girth and all that kind of stuff. So, and I've got things broken down into: do not put a stick out there that's more than whatever inches around, and not put things out there. And I've got people, it's real funny how a lot of mattresses appeared suddenly when Public Works just all of a sudden had no people. But anyway, be that as it may, we started having mattresses and a lot of things that aren't ordinarily seen out there. But I just wanted to say that, no, those are not. The law is real specific. And just to say this, if we're going to get someone and have it regularly done, we need to really start doing the education and PR and saying, noopity noop, you're going to have to take that to the dump yourself or wherever, but you can't put it out by the road.
And I appreciate that, Councilwoman. I mean, I think that the challenge that we're having is that, the number of residents that have not signed up for service is still at about 1,500.
Yes.
And that number are throwing the garbage in these piles with the mattresses and that, right? So, the proposal that I was gonna present was, we could operate a truck and pick up just the bulk items, the furniture, the refrigerator, that kind of stuff. And the trash is gonna sit, we'll leave a report of exactly where we picked it up. And then they're gonna call and say, well, you left the garbage on the ground. And we're gonna say, well, you're not a customer. You should be paying us to pick that up, right? I mean, it's sanitary. It's not healthy for our community to have garbage thrown in. But, Mr. Purdy and I, we went through the entire city for a couple of hours, and, the amount of bulk trash is really probably 50% of it. And the other 50% is garbage that doesn't even belong piled in there. And then, whatever arrangement the city has with picking it up with their trucks, they're picking it all up and then leaving divots in the ground and that kind of stuff. So, I guess the appeal to me is not so much of adding another vehicle, it's ending the confusion of who should be signing up for the garbage service and who should not. So, I think it's just a proposal, would be that it would be $16,500 a month, and we would have one truck and two people, and they would follow behind our garbage trucks on the same day, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then just pick up the bulk materials, and then we'll let what did you say, what is it? Sorting out yourself, I can't remember what you said.
I can't
But
remember
you understand what I'm saying? They're gonna have to come to realization that they're gonna have to sign up for service, or taking it on themselves. So that was what, but the city has landfills, that fee wouldn't be a cost to us. Assuming that unless you want to be reimbursed, but that was kind of what the short of our proposal would be.
And the reason I asked you to come, as I said, it was a solution, an option, something we could look at, or we could continue to have it on the ground or negotiate what we're other things that we're trying to do. But it's $198,000 approximately. We're spending $168,000 just on the trucks. We wouldn't have the fuel costs for the trucks. We wouldn't have the maintenance costs for the trucks. We wouldn't have any of that
I think
cost.
it's a no-brainer.
Well, like I said, the workload is different, right? Because we're picking up what should be picked up as bulk items. That's the difference.
Right, so my thought process was, let's at least know how much this would cost us. I've tried to get a copy of the contract. Ms. Wade has been working with me to try to get that. I sent her an email. You said no?
I don't have a contract, that's in the clerk's office.
Right, as I was about to say, I sent her an email, and she stated she didn't have it. She sent me to the clerk's office, they stated they didn't have it. The mayor's office said they don't have it, and so the attorney said he doesn't have it, but he'll try to find it for me. So they're trying to find our contract that we're paying $168,000 for the trucks for, to see if we could terminate early, if we could sell back early, or just what our terms are. And just how long the contract is. Most are in agreement that it may be a 3-year contract, but I'm not sure. I just wanted that information. So Attorney Jones, when I couldn't get it through Ms. Wade, working with her, Attorney Jones has stated that he would try to assist in getting that information. I think that's something that we need to explore.
It's true. That's a good idea. I followed up, the Councilwoman contact at the end. Councilwoman Benjamin did not follow up.
I'm deeply concerned about the city of Selma right now. I drive around every day in each one of our wards. You know, right now we are in I will put it like this, I've been doing a little lot of this. Right now, our city really is in violation because we got tons of garbage. And it bothered me when they gonna be setting the garbage up fire. You know, they are setting these mattresses. I literally went off. You're gonna burn some more houses up with all this garbage and mattress. They're mad and they are setting, garbage of fire every day. Garbage is burning in our community. And I rode around and we have 8 wards. And some of our wards, Ward 2 and 1. They don't have the garbage like we have in 3, 4, 5. 4 don't have real bad garbage. But I'm saying we got some major areas that has too much garbage. And when you got this garbage up there piled up like this here, like you said, we got approximately over 1,500 people not paying garbage fee. These people are coming into our community at night and they're dropping tons of garbage. Some areas that we didn't even have, like my ward, we didn't have garbage like this. Now, you got people bringing in garbage overnight, tons of garbage, just dumping it. Wherever they can see an open field or corner, and they just dumping it. And fire is danger, because you ain't got nobody watching it. And you mad with the mayor, you taking gas and come dashing it on tons of garbage and take a match and strap. Nobody's watching it. Then the community got to call the fire department and say, oh, we got a bad fire. It's garbage. If we're going to burn this garbage up. And I want to do whatever it is that we can do to move forward to get this off the street. We are in violation because if ADM come in here and see this garbage in these areas, the way this garbage is piled up in our community, that is not helpful. That's not helpful for us.
Thank you, Councilwoman. Councilwoman Benjamin.
I'd like to comment, first of all, what you're saying.
Go ahead.
So one of the things it's very true what you're saying. One of the things that we've made a lot of strides on is the number of customers that have signed up and stayed signed up and are paying their bills is dramatically improved. You know, one time we had like 35% of the people not paying their bills and we had to refill the cards and all that. We still have some of that, but I mean, for the most part, you know, we've maintained a pretty static customer base that's continued to grow. So, you know, I think a lot of people enjoy using the drive-through and stuff like that, pay their bill. I mean, so as a general rule, there are people that are continuing on with the service and paying their bills, which is a big improvement over the last couple of years. So it's improving, but you're exactly right, and it is a real sanitary danger, I
Yeah,
understand that.
it's bad, when you got people, I've seen this, and it bothered me, and I've been trying to figure out and study how, if we don't take this, you know, we as leaders, if we don't take, in consideration of the citizen, talking and having meetings, and when we got employees, they have a job, you know what I'm saying? And, we just gotta get our streets cleaned up.
All right, thank you, Councilwoman.
The $168,000, you went to the clerk and she didn't have the contract?
I emailed Ms. Wade
Mm-hmm.
and the clerk, and Ms. Wade said she wouldn't have it, the finance department wouldn't have it, the clerk keeps contracts.
Mhm.
And so, she was replied, to on the email, but she never returned an email, so I sent her another email saying, Ms. Ida, will you please, and she asked me to call her, and she said, we do not have it, and I've asked the mayor's office, and they do not have it. And so I emailed Attorney Jones and asked him, would he look into it, to try to retrieve that, see where it is in the city hall.
Mr.
Can we
President.
call the company?
Yeah, I'm quite sure, that, you know, Ms. Wade or someone we're sending the bill, we're sending payments to someone.
Well,
But she did make me aware it's
Mr.
168.
President, I was gonna ask the treasurer, I didn't know she was gonna step out at this time. Well, I thought she was on the way back in. When you spoke with the treasurer, did you ask her how we were
I sent her
paying
an
without a contract?
I sent her an email,
Uh-huh.
and she didn't reply to that. She said they don't keep them in their office, that they're in the clerk's office. Now, that was a concern, because at the county, they have them in the purchasing agent's office, finance office as well. But, you know.
But
that
my
may not
question
our
is gonna
practice.
be, when the treasurer returns, Mr. President, is what are we paying off of? What exactly are we paying off of? I know it's required that we have contracts. I really have to take my contracts downstairs. It's required that we have contracts, and no one in any department, according to Councilwoman Jackson,
According to the email.
is not,
So I sent it to
I haven't read the email, so I'm going according to what you're reporting, that no one knows where the contract is and what are we paying off of.
I guess Kelsey goes at it.
Maybe so.
But she was able to tell me, because I asked her, how long was the contract, and I have a copy of the contract, and how much we're paying. And so she said, we're paying $168,000 a year.
And the city attorney is trying to track it down?
Yes, he told me that he would look into it.
Was he familiar with it when you brought it up?
Yeah, what his question email back to me was, when was the contract signed? You know, when did it come before the council? And I said, you know, I don't remember off the top of my head. I know sometime last May or June, but if you could look into this matter.
Wow. Also, to join the Councilwoman Youngblood and Councilman Boleen, in this deal, would you all also pick up tree limbs and stuff like that?
Right, tree limbs, bulk furniture, Christmas trees, stuff that's permitted to go in your landfill that's, you know, bulk.
But with the tree limb, it need to be a certain length, that's not gonna take a whole tree off the street, now you gotta be cut up.
We have a law on how they should be cut.
Yeah.
4 feet, I think, is the
It
standard.
is a lot off from the city, so we can pass it over.
Councilwoman Youngblood and Councilman Boleen.
If we had our chipper, that could just get chipped.
I
I thought we did chip it. It's been approved. I've done a resolution that we signed, and it just needs to be purchased and taken to the site, and, I think that it was diverted
I
along
know
the
you voted
road.
on it twice, I forgot.
I know. But anyway, we need to do that because our landfill is steady mo getting fuller. But anyway, I need to ask this gentleman a question. When a garbage can is given to somebody, once they come in and pay the fee and they're in it, is there a number, like a serial number or something on the garbage can that's assigned to that house? Because I had one of my constituents call me and said, my garbage can was stolen right after. I don't know if that happens a lot, but, okay.
It does periodically. We do have serial numbers and track them, but
And what-
if neighbors swap cards, there's not much we can do about that.
I understand, but this, I don't think this was a swapping card.
I mean, I'm just saying that.
Yeah, I mean, this was just this was an easy steal for somebody because of where they live
Mhm.
and how, you know, just where their house is situated, it was easy for somebody just to swing in. What should they do when this happens?
So typically, the way we uncard that is our driver has a tablet in the truck, and they know which customers are paying customers. So they pick up this house, this house, this house. If there's a car that's sitting there that's not a legitimate customer, they skip that cart and go to the next one.
Okay. What about the people that have the cart stolen that they are good paying customers? I guarantee you this. But they file, I told them to file a police report.
We asked if they filed a
Call
police
y'all.
report, but
Okay.
Mr. Hardy said we had in the last 6 months, not many. It's kind of.
I think this was stolen last week. Or the week before, yeah.
About 50.
Okay, it's about 10 a month. 10 a month.
I don't know if it's happened before in my neighborhood, but
It happens all over Selma. You
Yeah,
see
I'm
rolling
sure
down
it
the street
does, yeah.
for whatever reason.
Thank you, Councilwoman.
thank you.
Councilman Lee.
So, if I heard correctly, you're gonna pick up the regular trash that you normally pick up, the yard, the household garbage. And then you're gonna pick up the yard refuse on the same day. So let's say Ward 1 is a Friday pickup, so you'll come in, pick up that trash, and you come in right behind that and pick up, so everything will be on the same day.
Yes.
Now, it helps both of us in educating. Would y'all be willing to use the different means that you have to communicate with your customers to help educate as far as the public relations side of getting this thing cleaned up? As far as limb size and so on and so forth, to help us, again, have
But we
more
need
heads.
guidelines from the city. I said,
Of course,
I
yeah, we'll get an ordinance to you, but again, would you be-
I got.
Be willing to help us?
stuff.
We can produce some marketing material.
Okay,
You
yeah,
know, we can leave a thing like the reason why we didn't pick up this didn't qualify.
right, like a door hanger or something like that, we can start getting it, and that's one of the things I want to do in my ward. And then I remember correctly, the gentleman that came and presented to us regarding the trucks that we purchased said that they would buy them back, you know, around $60,000 a piece, depending on wear and tear, that's what got the maintenance package, within the first 3 years of the contract. So if we got to a point we realized, and I think what year are we in now, third year? Second year?
Second.
Okay. So, I mean, again, there's an opportunity for us to get a higher value back. If again, they're looking at 60, then of course we could probably sell them ourselves if we decide to go this route and do that. And, yeah, I was one of the guys who got to pay my trash for paying 6 months. And I called the gentleman on the phone. I said, did someone steal my trash can? Y'all come get it. And he said, where do you live? I told him, he said, we came and got it. And I was like, okay. So it happens to everybody. Again, 6
Well,
months.
we're getting proficient at it.
Yeah, y'all are good at it.
The amount of people that are paying
But,
too.
you know, to the point of the councilwoman, you know, my first reaction was, you know, did it get stolen or did it get repoed? You know, so. Then once I found it was repoed, I beelined it.
Differently.
Y'all kept open, and I appreciate that, because I had 8 13-year-old boys come to the house that night. So I definitely appreciate y'all staying open a little bit later, get that trash can back to me, and apologize for not paying. I didn't realize it.
We don't treat
So
people
6 months at a
differently
time,
than
and you
the
forget it.
customer
So, but I like the idea of what you're bringing forth. I like the presentation. I like the cost. And I like what I've seen y'all do as far as making sure your trucks are covered and make sure you're not putting more debris on the road like we've seen some other companies in town do when they're traveling between Orville and Selma. They seem to let it all just fly on out. So I appreciate y'all's due diligence to work on keeping everything.
Councilwoman Benjamin.
Mr. President, what part of this belongs to the landlord according to our ordinance? Maybe you know, Councilman, what part of this garbage, feature belongs to, the landlord?
I do think there's either a municipal law or maybe a legislative law that puts this responsibility of garbage refuse on, it's a state law, on the landlords. And of course, since this city chooses not to put that responsibility on the landlord, this is why we're crippled with the continuous disregard of acquiring a receptacle. I do think that this council would just enforce that. But as a matter of fact, as a record, landlords is responsible for their tenants' receptacle. And I think you will see advance to prove that now. Question I want to ask about this trash pickup. I would be more inclined to support this if the company rolls up on a bunch of trash that has been infiltrated with garbage. You won't have an option of passing it back. To my understanding, the landfill out on 41 would take anything from A to Z. So if this company would pick up that trash that has been infiltrated with garbage and take that to the transfer station, and that means no power would go unpicked up. So I think the trade-off would be every pound of trash, whether it's infiltrated with garbage or not, will be picked up by this company.
Question on that. We use you all landfill for the trash, but if we take it at that, there's gonna be an extra cost to that, so it's gonna cost us extra money to dump that. picking up the garbage
On 41.
on 41.
Yeah,
If we clean every pile up like you asking, we have a problem with that, but the price gonna change.
Well, at $16,000 a month, $192,000 a year, I think you ought to bear that cost.
I don't know, it's $72 a ton.
Is there a possibility for us to look at some sort of timeline integration? So let's say, again, to Mr. LaShore's point, the trash recovered up. So if we were to go forward with this, could we look at it in a series of phases and look at maybe the first phase being X amount of dollars associated with that total cleanup? And then the education process has to kick in, it has to be accountability on the citizens' side to ensure that we're not continuing to be in that situation. So look at it as a phase program where we get the city cleaned up and then we look at, you know, tapering back as far as that goes, and then again, holding that accountable. By that time, I hope and pray, dear Lord, we can get code enforcement on top of that. So when y'all see that trash, you can call code enforcement, get code enforcement out there and get this thing cleaned up. So.
And I think that's a good point, and some of it is mixed up, and I get that. And I can see doing it once, right? The problem is if you're gonna change behavior,
You can't keep doing it.
it's gonna be the same way next week. So if you're gonna change behavior, you know, maybe we do it once, but like next week, no.
Right, because you're enabling people to continue to get away.
And that's why they're doing it now. I mean, I don't even think the city's even aware of the landfill regulations.
Well, Mr. LaShore mentioned the other day, when we were talking about the trash filling up, he said the trash was starting to smell. And clearly, in his situation where he was, that trash had household, you know, garbage in it, and you could smell that coming out of that pile of tree limbs and leaves, so.
Right.
They're good at hiding it.
No, I understand, but what I want to share with you, and it's just, you know, the garbage that comes from household garbage that's mixed with this, that goes to your landfill that you own.
Right.
It's not permitted to accept.
No, right, it's an 8-in violation. We're gonna
Okay,
charge you.
so, you know,
No, my point is, if we have to use the transfer station on 41 initially, and there's a higher cost associated with that, as you mentioned, per
There is,
$72
yeah.
per ton, then we could look at that initial being like you said, a short-term
Yeah.
phase with the regular contract price kicking in at a certain point, as long as we get our city cleaned up. Again, if we go forward with this,
that's a good solution. I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
It's, you know, it is like what Mr. Purdy said, you know, because that stuff gets transported to an MSW subtitle D landfill, which, you know, is different than y'all having a you know, class 3 C and D landfill.
and then we have to do a full court press as far as all the media outlets and everybody else that work with us, the newspaper and everyone else, to ensure that all the citizens are educated, so there's accountability among them if they do leave household garbage.
You're also coming in the holiday season too.
Yeah.
So it's gonna could get really worse quick.
Oh, yeah, I can understand that.
So it looks like we need to be doing several things at the same exact time. And one of them is not leaving the landlords off the hook. At the same time that we're doing PR, we need to be sending, and I don't know if that comes from your office or ours, we need to be sending the landlords of the 1,500 notice, a copy of the state law. Is state law?
Yeah, that comes to me all.
Okay, so that would come from us. So that's one thing we need to be doing. The second thing is the PR to the public. Once once we made our rounds with PR, then code enforcement needs to come behind us and begin doing what it is that they do, writing citations, writing warnings, whatever, after the PR,
get that.
after the education piece of it. And at the same time, we need an overall pickup from you all for that first go round. We need an overhaul.
So let me put a pencil to that, and I'll give you something in writing that's tangible that you can think, and I think you're right, we can go ahead and do the sweep through once, and then, you know, once that particular address is done, it's checked off, I'm not
That's
going
it,
back,
yeah.
right?
Right.
And then,
Code enforcement is that.
you know, the other thing too with the landlord deal, you know, there's a provision in the Section 8 rent that they're collecting that covers the solid waste services. And so I understand the tenant's view that's saying, hey, the landlord's got the money. Why am I paying for trash service?
That's what we're saying.
Okay, so-
That's exactly what we're saying. What we're saying landlords, period.
But we've gone down this road before, we're putting that responsibility on the landlords. And of course, that was a public hearing to that effect. And because the room was saturated with landowners that was rallying against that proposition, this council kind of folded up. I still say this council needs to put the responsibility on the landlords, because the state law supports us, and it will help get our city cleaned up.
Councilwoman Jackson.
I just wanted to say, if you recall, our ordinance does currently require that the landlords bring us verification of that, starting in January through middle of February. And so they're supposed to bring verification. You know, the last time we did have this hearing, I think it was 16 of the landowners that actually brought that in. And so if we begin the PR, and you say you would actually send out the letters, is that correct? Did I hear that?
Yeah, we'd be glad to send out the letter. We did that when we started initially. We sent out letters to the whole city and then.
I guess my only question is, are we doing a one-time sweep or are we doing a one-period sweep? Because if, just say for instance, they start effective November 18th, I think that may be a month. 11th, 18th, yes. And so we start effective November the 18th, and they have 1 week. Do we have the time to get all the residents up and aware? They should already know that they should have it. Do we have time to follow up? Do we have time to get the public notices out? Or do we need a period where we pay just a little bit more and we take that time to communicate with the public?
Not a week, yeah, we need a sweep, not a week. Yeah.
Sweep, not a week. But what I heard you say is we'll do it one time.
Well, that would
Which
be
is
my
a week.
suggestion, at each address, you do it one time, because you're not gonna break the cycle if you don't.
Right.
And what needs to follow that is a code enforcement officer. That
So
will go
that's
in our city to make sure that people have garbage recycled.
That,
Councilwoman, go ahead.
if I understand correctly, then that's a week, because one time they pick up every week, once a week.
Oh, you feel like we can do that in a week?
No, I don't know about that, but I mean.
But he said only pick
No,
up.
I don't feel like we can do it in a
Once we
week.
pick up each address one time, that's it.
I don't feel like you can do it in a week.
No, I
Right,
don't either.
that's what I'm asking the council, do we need to pay a little bit extra and make it a sweep rather than a week?
Clean sweep.
You have a proposal?
He said he would get some numbers on that sweep.
Yeah.
On the
Yeah.
sweep, but he said he would do the week regardless for us.
Right.
So do we would just wanna stick with a week and let them clean?
But we don't know if we can do
I think we do a sweep. Everybody will.
I think we need to switch a week.
You might just get 2 or 3.
Well, let's define what
We need
we're
a
talking
sweep, that's the
about.
kind of what we're talking about.
If you
What
don't-
is a sweep?
So.
Pick it all up.
This is how I would think about, like option one, we just picked up the couch, left the trash. That's the regular monthly rate. If we're gonna do the sweep, we're gonna take it all, right? And then we're gonna take it to the 41, and then add that, you're gonna pay the landfill fee, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then that is a substantial cost, because we're picking up a lot more volume, right? Maybe not double, but this is that, okay? And then, after we do that address, we don't come back, and if they don't have, we're gonna turn in we have pretty good records on computers with tablets, we can say which address we picked it up from. And can we compare that in a Excel spreadsheet to our customer list and say, but they're not a customer. Code enforcement needs to step up there and do something for them.
Let me say this,
I
man.
think it should be a week.
That's a good idea you said about the address, but you got a lot of outlets that don't have address.
Fair point, that's a different scenario there.
You got
Well,
quite a
you
few
have
outlets that's
singular
outlets.
dumping sites that several people
In
go
the outlets
into.
in the back street.
Yeah, there's some that have turned into big projects.
Which would be nice to break that cycle, so each house has its own pile. That's something I'd like to see to be done. So I like the idea of moving that direction, to get each address in a pile.
Councilwoman
Also,
Thomas.
I thought about it too, President Bowie. In some of these areas, that in these alleys, we can, like I have two, that they asked that we could block it off. They asked me, could I, because that's how people be coming in overnight,
Yeah.
dumping in the area back where no one, like, in some of our areas, we got areas like that. And they was asking me, could we, have it blocked off to keep them from coming in there and dumping that garbage?
You should check with the fire department on that. I talked to the fire department,
That's
and
one.
we can't do it, because they got to have access to the front and back of the
Ingress.
house.
They'll get the trash to it, real cars.
Yeah, throw it over there.
And walk in over there.
If I may,
Go ahead.
you need to destroy the incentive by making them have garbage service. And if we're doing the bulk, then you don't need to sneak it around, you just put it out and you're a paying customer, right? The other option to be, and I understand that the budget strain would be to implement a franchise fee where we charge $1 more a month, and then that fee goes to the city to support the cost of the code enforcement. So we do that in Lowndes County. The fee is the tax on top of what we charge, and then we remit $1 a house to the county, and then they use that for their code enforcement costs.
I know that none of us want the wrath of some of the property owners, obviously. But the state law says that the landlords, the property owners, I mean, I just looked at it, looked it up to find, I mean, garbage receptacles, it specifically said. And we have got to do that. I mean, here we are talking about charging them. This, that, and the other. Make the people that are responsible bear the responsibilities. If they don't want, you know, look, in another life I had rental property, and in 2 other lives I had rental property. And I, just got out of it, didn't do it anymore because it was too much trouble. And there's the same thing. If people don't want to do what the law says they're responsible for, they can do likewise.
Responsibility is not due to landlords. Put it on to the side.
I think to put that on the agenda, of course, I know there needs to be healthy debate with the other council members, but I believe there's a consensus, even if it's for the interim, trash is not being picked up. If we say from now to the end of the year, or if we decide to do a month-to-month contract, or we decide to do a year-long contract, whatever we decide to do, I think this is an option for us. I don't know if this is a service, but I don't know if it has to be bid out. I did run this by Woody, but I haven't gotten anything in return, so I figure all that out by Tuesday, and hopefully we'll have the contract. But guys, to have everything picked up on one day, if they come through, I'm Thursday, and so if they come through on Thursday and I don't see any more trash, I don't have to wait.
That would be.
Right, I don't have to wait. I don't even know what day they pick up my trash. I just know what day they pick up my garbage, but I know every week, all of it's going at the same time. I have a week of a clean street. I think
See it on Friday. I guarantee you that.
you won't see it on Friday.
You'll see it on Friday. It's clean Thursday, it's gonna be right back Friday.
Yeah. We got some people, we got some serious people they bring all their garbage and dump it.
This is an option, guys.
Yeah, it's a great option.
I mean, for what we're almost paying for our trucks.
Also, too, keep in mind the fact
That's not running.
that I'm gonna go ahead to Councilman Bolin, but also in the process now, I don't know, you should be familiar with, negotiating with a company to also pay for the exempt people who receive garbage here in Selma. So I think we need to finalize the deal with that. Don't want to call that company name, but we're in the process of trying to negotiate that out.
Well, I'll say one last thing. Thank you. You all are invested in our community. Mr. Purdy is here. You've acknowledged, I mean, the fact that you stood up and said, you know, we want to help this team. That's not all that you do, what we've seen here. We've seen you do a lot. When our cleanups, when we're trying to clean our community, just being a part of the community and investing. We see that you got a larger facility and you're bringing things here to Selma. So it appears to me that you're here for the long term and you want a long-term relationship, and we're glad. And we want to make your relationship with us more profitable by the correct amount of households having the right garbage. And we're thankful that you even decided to give us a proposal on this matter, because you could have said,
It's just something
like
for
many of the
discussion.
others, I'm not coming to Selma.
Yeah.
So,
Carl?
I was gonna say that, I think our ordinance actually refers to, you know, how many hours that can be out associated with you're getting your yard trash picked up. I think the ordinance actually has a line on there, you put it out 24 hours, 48 hours in run. So hopefully, to your point, you won't see it Friday because you'll get a little bit of a break, but again, that enforcement element is such a huge part of any success at all in getting this garbage cleaned up. Without that part, we're not gonna be successful in your regard, so, I'd like to see that get remedied just as fast as, you know, getting these folks or anybody picking up our garbage, because it's nasty, I'm telling you what, so. Our ordinance will set us free if we could just implement the ordinance and enforce it.
Enforcing the pieces back.
Yes.
We're here for you, so just if you
I
need
appreciate y'all.
advice, let us know.
Definitely appreciate y'all.
Could you give our attorney and slip out a contract, something that we can see and marinate over, based on what we see tonight? I think that would be the first course of action that we need to get started.
Yeah, I'll be glad to kind of scratch out, you know, a full performance scope of work and then technically with how the cost is broke out. I mean, you know, I know that the $16,000 sounds like a lot of money, but we pay our employees $18 an hour. So when you put two people on a vehicle and you've got, overhead power lines, all the safety issues to deal with, I mean, we've got people in the office, I mean, that's not a lot of money in the scope of it. The value in that to us is that we're gonna be getting customers to sign up for service. I mean, where we're losing is where a customer doesn't sign up and puts their trash in their neighbor's cart, and we've got the disposal fees to pay, but no revenue to offset that.
I understand that, but if
So that's the value to us,
I understand that, but if we're gonna get started, we need something on paper.
Understood, I'll be glad to send it next week.
Define what the scope of services is, what your responsibilities are, contractor responsibility of the city.
And normally he's not here, God just smiled on Selma because he happened to be here this week coming into town. And I just happened to call last week and say, hey, can we meet? And he was here this week and gracious enough, after, I think we met Tuesday, Monday, what day?
They probably wish I was here
Yeah.
last.
So one of those days this week, they were able to meet, and then bring us this really fast. I mean, they had a quick turnaround, but the contract but this is an option, guys. We'll get a contract, we can do first reads, and we can make a decision, but it's an option.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Good night.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Green.
Also, too, I know Councilman Randolph brought up about the prison release, picking up some of the trash. I mean, on the main thoroughfares, I had a call from Captain Fields today, so maybe we can just put that on the backlash.
Can you repeat that? I didn't hear you.
What's that?
You said you called him?
Yeah, I had a call from Captain Fields
Yes,
today
sir.
about the prison release, having some prisoners come in. I asked him to go ahead and draft up a contract and also a narrative of what they will be doing. And I'm just waiting on an email from Captain Fields with the work release program.
You sent us a copy.
I'll send you a copy once
Answer from them.
yes, once I get a copy. I know what, I can get the email to them. To the mayor's, to the attorney's report. You have before you a resolution. It's just a routine resolution for AT&T requesting to modify some equipment. If it's no problem with the council, we can go ahead and move forward with this on consent agenda. If it's no problem, it's just a routine modification from AT&T at 3538 US Highway 80 West. We'll put this on consent. Councilwoman.
Yeah, since we don't have an attorney come to our agenda, to our work session to get a lot of our things that we are voting on, contracts and ordinance and resolution. When is he planning on coming before this council?
Well, he would have been here tonight, but he had something in Montgomery, and I assured you that from this point on, that he would be at every work session and council meeting that you all request.
Well, can you see that we get the contract? He has the minutes for the last council meeting that we voted on for the Dallas Academy building, the written contract in there for we can, Judge Armstrong can sign off. And also the contract for Black Belt benefit for this concert. You know, we need those contracts done and so the council can sign off on them. We got a lot of stuff we haven't even got our contract yet for about the public buildings. And that's been a minute. And I'm gonna add some new stuff that done happened, and I think the council needs to know this with our buildings when they get to me. Yes. We need that contract.
Just a reminder, if you haven't gone on to vote at lemonade.org, please do that.
We're seeing that already.
And make sure y'all get a chance to go vote. You can unsubscribe after you register to vote. You can vote with your Facebook account or your Google account, but every vote matters as we move to stay in the top 25 to see if we can't get 10 full days of live music here in the city of Selma, free for anybody to come and enjoy. So again, if you haven't voted and you care about that kind of stuff, please take an opportunity to do so, and then unsubscribe if you don't want to get any newsletters. I know all the members of the Black Belt Benefit Group, including myself, would appreciate that, and I think the city would have a good time coming together for the love of music. So thank you.
Thank you, Councilman Bowling. Councilwoman Thomas.
I told you I'll tell you when you get to me.
Okay, I thought you had your hand.
Oh, no, I ain't had my hand up.
Okay. Next, council members, I requested from RDS some local businesses here in Selma that are delinquent on their taxes. I think probably our next council meeting, we need to go into executive session and ask our attorney to move forward with doing whatever we need to do to collect this delinquent tax because it's owed to us. And we have roughly about 40 to 50 businesses on this list here. And we definitely need to move forward with this. I know we've been talking about it, but one thing we can definitely do is bring the business before the council and revoke their business license at a council meeting. Because I think we've been playing, this just been a lingering problem on and on and on. So that's why I felt that.
Is that the new list?
Yeah, this is the updated list here. Councilwoman.
There are a couple of businesses on here that are closed. What is that?
Well, basically, it's still gonna move forward, we have to move forward. Go ahead, Councilman.
I must say, we have come a long, long way. Back in 2016, early 17, it was a sad situation.
About $500,000.
Yes, sir. Looking at this graph showing the improvement, I just think RDS need to be acknowledged for that.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Bowman.
I was gonna say, it looks like there's a duplication of some information on this particular sheet for one of the companies on the front page there. It's also on the second page. I didn't know if that was the same cost or just having a similar cost, but it's the exact same amount. So I didn't know if that was
Which one?
down at the bottom. It's the last one on the first page, and it's also and it's the 6 on the first column there on the top of the next page.
Make sure that,
Aren't those all related to the same one? I mean, the first 1, 2, 3 are related to the second 1, 2? All the same business? Because that's the case, that's a lot of money.
yes. And as you can see, also, some of the local business made payment arrangements.
I saw that.
They have increased their payment arrangements on a monthly basis, so they are making strides to at least remit the
Apply the
taxes.
responsibility as individuals.
Yes. Yes, sir.
I'm gonna have to excuse myself.
Yeah.
I got a DC deck meeting, the final day for Democratic candidates is next Friday.
Yes, sir.
So this meeting.
This Friday?
Well, I thought it was Friday.
About it was the 7th, or tomorrow, the 8th.
Tomorrow, I think it's tomorrow.
It's tomorrow.
That's for Democratic Party candidates?
Yeah.
But let me get out of here.
It's tomorrow.
And it's your birthday, man.
Yeah, any of my colleagues would like to have a cupcake?
Yes.
Thank you so much. I gotta do the
I
same
have
at
a
my house.
dozen. I have a dozen already.
Oh, just get a cupcake.
You just sweet tooth on there.
I want to thank my colleague, Maya Jackson,
Yes.
for honoring us on our birthday.
Yes, thank you,
I
Councilwoman.
just want to say, keep up the good.
Happy early birthday.
Thank you.
No, I got the cake thing at the house for the missus.
Okay,
I gotta pick it up, then go get the,
Tell her happy birthday.
I'll do that.
okay, we better go ahead and move quickly because we don't want Mr. Bodine to be sorry.
Yeah, I got to, yeah, I need to go get dinner started.
Okay, any other questions for the attorney's report? Upcoming, business items, my business item would be for the month of November. I know we have a council meeting on the 12th. if we go ahead and have it the following for the 19th, also back-to-back for for November and December. Because I think for the fourth council meeting, the second council meeting in December, I think it'll be during the week of Christmas. So we just go ahead and have it back-to-back, November and December. I would put that on the consent agenda so we can move forward with it, and also I would notify the need of the change.
So that'll be the 12th and the 19th.
For, 12th and 19th.
Mr. Powell is here, the new editor of the Selma Times Journal, Mr. Powell's here to take those notes. So congratulations, Mr. Powell, and his calling, I guess. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I'm not sure how you're gonna last, but congratulations to you, sir.
Thank you.
I know he's gonna be called.
That's right. Heavy is the head that wears the crown, man.
Oh, shoot, I'm gonna miss the 19th then. Okay, I'll be here on the 12th.
Okay.
So are you saying on December, we'll do December the 10th and the 17th?
Yes.
Okay.
That's the 10th and the 17th?
10th and 17th.
Make sure, check that out.
All right, Councilwoman Benjamin.
Oh, I have an item. Let me see. Let me see what my item is.
Mr. President, I got
Okay.
Oh, public services. Okay, so we took care of a lot of what I was going to talk about when we had the surprise guest here. So that was number 2. Number 3, I want to remind you all of the mall walk on this coming Tuesday. All of you all, the mall walk, so join us at 12 noon. You can't miss. President, if you could take your lunch at 12 instead of 1. We would appreciate you being there, and those of you who are in the audience, come. It's not. I'm challenging the council members, but I'm also saying to the citizens, let's go out because these these are local folks. We have big boxes in there, and we want to say thank you to them for continue to invest in Selma. But we have a lot of local pop-ups in the mall now, and they are local people. Number 4 is concerning the council administrative assistant. Mr. President, I'm ready to bring this. I dropped this in your spirits the last time, and I'm ready to talk about go ahead and contracting a person to put in this council office so that we can. I do have somebody in mind, but hey, everybody else might too. But y'all probably would be pleased with this person. But we need to reconnect. With the city of Selma, the citizens of Selma.
Yes, ma'am.
There is a grave disconnect because they cannot reach anyone in our office. At one point, the phones were acting kind of funny. They were being forwarded to you, Mr. President, and forwarded to Councilwoman Thomas.
And they cut us off. They don't even let the citizens talk to me or to him.
And those phones were cut off from you all, which means we are totally cut off. And
Incommunicado.
Incommunicado, and yeah, this is the person I have in mind. How did you know that? How did you know that? But it is time, and I dropped that in your spirits the last time, so I'm going to insist that we get an administrative assistant. It is the right thing for us to do to reconnect with the citizens of Selma, Alabama. Total disconnect now that you've been cut off. And Councilwoman Thomas has been cut off from the phones being forwarded to yourself. Your personal cell phones that you pay for. And speaking of cell phones, I want to know how much money we have, I'm jumping subjects. But speaking of cell phones, I want to know how much money we've saved since all of these phones have been cut off. And where is that money that has been saved with AT&T since all of the council members' phones have been cut off? Also, I would like to suggest that we cut off the rest of the phones except for public safety. Our public safety needs their phones. The rest need to be off. OFF, and we can save some more money and do some more things for the city of Selma.
I think we need to bring an AT&T rep.
That's what you need,
Can you get AT&T here?
Bring them here Tuesdays.
Okay.
Can you
Along with
get
the past
AT&T here?
6 months bills.
Yeah, we need,
So
we need a.
AT&T.
So Tuesday, I would like to make a suggestion of an administrative assistant, and what I would like to do with you all, I would like to suggest this person to you all in private. Some of you all I already have. I would like to suggest it to you in private before Tuesday, and then you can say how you feel about that person. But I do have a person in mind, and I think you all will be pleased.
We'll be
But
back
look,
on.
I have a question to ask you, Councilman Benson.
Yes, ma'am.
Are we gonna contract this person?
That's the only way we
That's
can
the
get
only way
them
we can
here.
get 'em.
Okay, that's all I wanted to know.
That's the only way, cause
Yeah.
hey, we got money in the budget for 68 families to return and they have not returned. So we can't go that route.
Okay. All right.
All right, go ahead, Councilwoman. I think we'll be back on track with this one.
Yes, I'm ready. I word everybody and, I have word Ms. Councilman Benjamin and, Ms. Wade, them
And we don't
have.
mind.
And I'm telling y'all, I
We don't
have,
mind.
they haven't turned me down, but, I know they probably say I'm got on their nerves.
No, we don't mind.
All right, Councilwoman. Councilwoman, anything?
Oh, no, sir.
Okay,
Oh, you had your hand in
I wanted to ask, with your administrative assistant, can you also, include, someone for the clerk's office?
Sure, dude, she need help.
What about
bad.
the person that was there? Does she have a job?
I'm just saying the contract, and it could be that.
She needs
that
it.
same person.
So can we
Good one.
talk about the same,
Okay,
can we
yeah.
talk about them in the same vein at the
Yeah.
same time?
Cause it's all, both of them are the
Yeah.
same number.
Cause I,
And then can you, try to find that person that used to be there and see if she has a job or if she's even interested?
Okay.
All right,
Um,
Councilwoman,
Public Works has already been taking care of property, well, one other thing with Public Works. So we know that some of the stench is coming from the garbage, that's being, placed, but we also are aware, I don't know how many of you all have been bombarded with calls about the sewage backing up, but I have.
oh, yeah.
So I have been bombarded with calls. Mr. Hogg has really been able to assist with that. He's went out to several locations because the first thing I do is say, I don't know what to do, help me, navigate me through this. And so he says, the first thing to do is determine whether it's our line or not. Of course, I don't know which is our line. And so he's been able to go out and do that. And the times that he's determined that it was actually the city line, they've gotten someone to do it for us at no cost to the city. Thank you, Jesus. But they can't continue to do that. And so, so I spoke with him on yesterday after calling him again about another homeowner that called regarding sewer backing up in their home. And he made me aware of the company they've been using, we've seen them before. You know what I'm talking about? The company. And so he said that they have the right type of equipment, that they flush it out, and when they go in, that they don't just relieve the line, they actually clean the line, and it's done properly. And so I asked him if there was some way that we could contract with this company, maybe just set an amount of a contract, and while people are off and we're figuring things out, that they can go up and do the different calls up to this amount. And if it goes over that amount, of course, they'll have to come back before the council. But if we even put an open amount of $10,000 that we want to contract with this company, let them clean the lines. As they call the different council members, we can call Mr. Hogg and they can send them out. And if it's not our line, Mr. Hogg is going out to say, it's our line, it's not our line. Of course, if it's not our line, they wouldn't then be called out. But if it is the city line, they would then be called out. And then they have this threshold for different houses they can go out, but they can't exceed a certain amount. I've been inundated. I got called all last week while I was gone. And so, and you know, Ward 3, they gave us the book. It's one of the worst wards for drainage and sewage. But I've received calls from 5, 6, and 2 while you were out. So, and so if I could get you all to at least consider that, it will be helpful. And this is the company, he's recommended, this is the company that has gone out for the last 4 times for us without cost.
okay. Hold on, before I go to Councilwoman Thomas, I was notified that, on the 19th of November, that a lot of council members, would be at a training. So would it be okay if we do it on the 18th, that Monday?
The day before.
The day before?
Somebody cancel me?
Yes,
Oh, yeah.
So we
Okay.
do next Thursday,
So it'll be the 12th and the 18th.
12th and 18th.
No work session.
no
No
work
work
session.
session,
Okay,
yeah.
that's what I was saying.
12th and 18th.
12th and 18th, no work session.
No, 12th and 18th.
The 2 meeting dates for November because
For
of
November, yeah.
Thanksgiving, 12th and 18th.
12th and 18th.
Okay, so we just meet 12th and 18th.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
okay.
And then on December, it's still gonna be the 10th.
10th and the 17th.
17th.
Okay.
Okay, we'll send it out to the meeting.
Okay.
Go ahead, okay.
So I was asking, can we at least consider that, I'll get with, Mr. Jones. I actually emailed him about this. He got time. Say that. So, but I emailed him and say, you know, can we contract for services? You know, just maybe a threshold of 10, 15, whatever the council says during this time, that when we're getting these calls, we can route them through Mr. Hogg and somebody can go out there and help relieve those lines if it's actually the council's fault. So that was my other item on the public works. Property taxes. I guess, Mr. President, I'm asking you to get information from me. So I was informed, and I emailed the attorney regarding this, and he didn't know. He was looking to some information, and I told him that I would actually, this would be my agenda item. But property taxes, what is our threshold for past due? Like, is 10% of our property taxes unpaid? And are we still putting liens on the properties? Because when the properties are sold, if properties are sold.
Cause you have 3 years,
throughout.
3 years to get it back.
Right.
I tell you what, that'll be a good segue.
And Kim,
I'm gonna email, Ms. Kim and, on tomorrow, and, have her here Tuesday night.
Please, because what came to my attention is that we have a property owner that has about $20,000 in unpaid back taxes, that they continually pay the state, but they refuse to pay the city. And, the city said there's no way that there's no recourse in that. So I said, the attorney said, really? And so he said previously that we did liens, but as of late, he can't say that we've been doing that.
We did liens, Attorney
None.
We did liens religiously, $20,000. $20,000.
Well, this was reported, and so I don't have that information, but it was quite long. Actually, it was the renter of the property scared that the city was gonna come in and take the property.
Right.
They paid the rent.
And they'll be out.
And they'll be out, and they said that the property owner's not paying their city taxes, but is paying the state taxes. And they wanted to see how we can address it, because they like being there, but they don't wanna have to leave.
Also, too, keep in mind, we need to also address the fact with Ms. Lewis about the business license.
Yes.
That's right around the corner, so, it's been a delay in depositing the checks, because I had a friend of mine, I live in.
So if we could have something like that we're receiving from RDS to tell us how many delinquent accounts that we have on property taxes, how long they've been delinquent, is it?
And how much.
And how much in delinquent taxes that we have. And that, you know, some type of spreadsheet to let us know what we're missing. We could be missing the $2 million, $5 million in the budget that they're looking for. It could just that we haven't used any collection agency, and we may need to get to a point that we need to consider a collection agency, because even if they receive 20% off the top, we got 80 and currently
I
we
know
do
that's how they do in Tuscaloosa and some other areas.
Yes.
Collection agencies.
collection agency.
Councilwoman, go ahead, Councilwoman Jackson.
I was just gonna say, my last item was, the accounts payable. I've got two, one county, one city that have given me a copy of the agenda. Did you? Okay. Mr. President was gonna get copies of agendas, so I can just give you all what they do, a copy of what they do, and it's actually on their agenda. They just said approval of accounts payable, just like they say approval of the draft minutes or approval of the agenda minutes or something. So we could do that, and we vote on it, and then it's part of the minutes.
When do they receive it? How far in advance do they receive it?
One company said they receive it on Thursday, and they have meetings on Monday. The other one said they receive it on Friday, but they said that their council, they have a 5-member committee. This was Homewood. And said they have a 5-member committee, financial committee, that they rotate every 3 months, and said that they actually come in over the weekend and review them. I don't want to do that.
Oh, God bless them.
God bless them, yes, so I would like to take them home and review them, so if I can get them Thursday night, Friday, I would like it. But I don't want to sit here with you all weekend and review them.
Councilwoman T.
yes, one of our items on here, we were talking about the city drain. I had the hotel manager, I had to go out, to the hotel at night. Yes.
That sound right.
Yeah, Mike, y'all didn't answer the phone, so he was texting me and I had to go out there and he said he was having, his hotel rooms were bagged up. It messed up, flooded with sewer.
Where was this?
Right there by the little creek on high, out here. Greystone, the old,
Yeah, the Greystone.
yeah, Mike, his name was Mike Pertel. He sent me a letter and, then he called, he was raising sand, and I said, sir, as soon as I leave, Andrew, what you remember when I went out there? When I went out
Go to the
there,
hotel at night.
Oh,
I didn't go to
So,
the
okay,
Not
well,
that
I went to the
night.
hotel because the man he was very upset. He said he had been to City Hall, he couldn't get nobody, and folks was telling him they was gonna help him. So I went to see, he told me, come look, so I did go look. He had it's somebody out there, I don't know if it's the restaurant, but they connected. He said he spent 2 times with Ross Plumbing, and Ross was telling me it was the city, so I had Mr. Ray Hall. I called Mr. Ray, he went out there. Mr. Ray said it's something dealing with somebody, some kind of way, somebody putting grease in the line. You got the restaurant next door, and you got him, it might be somebody in his hotel. But I wanted to ask you, could you probably call a business meeting with those people together so you can try to figure out, because I asked the license man, you know, the building license man to go to the restaurant to see are they using the proper grease trap for the grease. I asked him to go out to the restaurant. So he's gonna file a claim because he had a lot of rooms they were messed up. The cops
He gonna file a claim.
against the city.
Where's the grease coming from?
We don't know. That's why I wanted to. You got there. I asked Mr.
Doesn't he have a restaurant?
The hotel.
They don't.
They don't have restaurants.
Who does?
The restaurant next door to him.
Oh, the restaurant is next door.
No, we talking about the hotel right here when Little Valley Creek when you go across the bridge. His name is Mike Patel. And I went out there, you know, because he was saying, it's in your ward. And you're the representative for me. So come on. I said, okay. So I went to see what he wanted. I did. And,
May I ask a question?
yes.
Did Mr. Hogg say it was on the city side? It's on the city
Mr.
line?
Hogg said that it was in the city. And he was raising sand. He said, but his rooms were messed up, y'all.
Well, he needs to fix his problem.
It ain't his problem. They telling y'all that the drains, the city drains, somebody in a restaurant using grease pouring. And the grease is, by him being on the low end, if y'all go see it, then y'all understand how he catching it.
I'm gonna tell you.
No, the restaurant needs to clean.
You know, I have said about that grease. Now, people laughed at me talking about grease, getting in those pipes and saying that. And Leonard Ingram, an engineer and a plumber, used to have a plumbing service, told me that I was correct. So I breakfast in the downtown one day and said I was correct and that I needed to, let's turn this down just a little bit. Said that I needed to have, gave me the name of this company that they have these, where you can capture grease. They give you these special cans you can capture grease in and all that stuff. And so I need to go by and see Leonard. We need to make these restaurants do
It's the
that.
restaurant.
Because
He
these
in.
lines are old and
Yeah.
they get clogged up. People pouring grease down the lines. And some people just thought that was just ridiculous. And I said, and also, let me tell you something else too. These little wipes, flushable wipes, they may be flushable, but they don't biodegrade. Remember, I had a thing of water up here and in it. Do not use fanny wipes, people, and flush them down the commode. Don't flush. They get caught up in vines and all that stuff and stop up. When people call me, my sewage, I want to say that. Have you been flushing fanny wipes and pouring grease down? That's what does it.
But anyway, President, but I try to accommodate the business in my ward when they call me, and I wanted Mr. Lee to. We got all those fast food places out there. I don't know where he's on the low end. If you look at the way he's sitting at and the way the drain comes, when the grease stop up, His line bags up, it bags him all the way up, and all his little hotel rooms on that low end there, it'd be overflowing and stuff. He showed it to me, so I told him the only thing I could do is to try to get a meeting as President Boyd. Can he have a meeting with some of the business right in that area and let them know, you know, and have the license man to tell them, no, that grease. He catching it because he on the low end. And the drain, the way it coming, the city drain comes. When they get through the business, get to whatever they doing with the grease, it come all the way and it stops right there. And he end up with all the problem.
When you looking at having a meeting?
Well, I told him I
Well,
had to
good
get
time.
with you. I told him,
Long as it's after 5 o'clock,
uh-huh,
after 5,
by 5 o'clock.
after 5.
After 5. So we need to, how will we contact the business? We'll give Mr. Send him a letter? Okay. All right, we'll take care of him because I promised him that I would talk to you about it. Okay, my next thing is about public building concern. And I think, you know, leaders, we need to be very concerned about who has our keys now. You know,
I can't hear.
we need to be very concerned about our city building, the keys. You know, we was at the time we were asking for you to have keys and the clerk to receive the keys. Which have you ever received any keys yet? And our clerk doesn't have. Even with the code to get in the building, our clerk should have the code to the for her to get in the building. You know, we have laws. Sean Van Dyke has resigned. Sean Van Dyke should not have any keys to the city property. All keys should have been turned in, or we should have been changed our locks on all city property. He should have any public keys at all. Another thing I see too, in the evening time, the little boy Terrell, he should have access to the city property keys. Yes. He locks the doors. You know, this is my concern that they was talking about the councils not having, but we have employees walking around with city keys on them. They're locking the doors and stuff, and our clerk does not have all the keys. Because when we are elected officials, when we need to get in a building or need to be where we get locked out, where you have a code set, the lock us out at a certain time. But the mayor don't know that the council sets the time and what time the building should be locked. It's not his decision to lock us out, rush us out, put the code on. They'll put the code on. If you're in here trying to do some business, the code is set. They set the code and the alarm be going off.
The IT director did.
Yes, and it's not fair to us.
We were in the building.
Yes, it's not fair to us.
We were in the building working, and in fact, I was working for Councilwoman Thomas, and the IT director came down. She saw us and she said, I have to leave. I said, and we're not done working. She commenced to leave, set the alarm, and of course the alarm went off. I knew the alarm was gonna go off, but we stayed and finished our work. And of course the alarm went off when we opened the door. And if I have to finish again, I'll just remain here and she'll set the alarm again, I guess.
And then no one that has resigned should not have keys to be coming in and out of city property. The keys need to be immediately turned over. They need to immediately turn these keys over. No employee that works here should not have the city keys, President Bowie, because the councils are over the city property. Employees are not supposed to have keys to open the building or lock the building. When the mayor and his secretary or whatever they leave, and they leave the key, the clerk should be the one to do this. I've done my homework. Not the employee that works here should not have city property keys. They should not have the right to do this. And that's why I say.
Well, I know the clerk, I think the clerk need a key, and anyone up here need a key, because I don't want
We
a
just
key.
said the clerk.
No, we said the
Just
clerk.
clerk, okay.
The clerk should have the code to the back door. She should know the code to get in. And she should have the keys to the city property. If one of us needed, to go to one of these buildings to look in or do something, and Terry Davis is not in place. Our city keys are going through too many hands. They're floating too many hands. And, you badmouth the councils about, the wrong people have been having our keys. And we need, those keys need to go through that city clerk down there.
And also too, city clerk, I do concur with you, she definitely need.
She needs
all
the
set of
keys. She need all the keys.
Because coming in on the weekend, the minutes behind, she should be able to come in on the weekend and catch up on it.
But my thing is this here, when you resign from the city, you shouldn't have the keys. And I'm mighty afraid, you know, guys, me is hand passed with all these keys. One person have had all of our keys to every property that we have had, the right-hand man. I'm afraid. These people should not be still coming up in here unlocking doors and using city key. Every key should be turned in. City keys need to be turned in. And no employee that walking around here should have city keys on them. The only one should have the keys is the clerk.
Everything, Councilwoman Thomas says, ditto double time. I mean, I double that. But also, I would add that above all else, we're unable to help the citizens who pay the taxes, who pay for usage of the buildings, are not able to use the buildings. These are public buildings, and the public is not able to use the buildings like they're supposed to be able to. And so, even though the council has decided, well, we will do the work, or see that the work is done, that Public Buildings Department has not done or not able to do, because either there's nobody there, or they're not inclined to do it, or they've been told not to do it, or for whatever reasons there are, it's not getting done when people want to use it. And still, there are blocks put up to keep Joe Q or Joan Q citizens from being able to have good usage of the buildings. I mean, that's above all else.
Okay, and then also the council should know this too. The reason why we're not on top of what's been going on, because we have let people that have been working under the mayor has taken the control of a lot of our unfinished business with our public buildings. I talked to the Miss Williams this evening with the Dallas Academy building. Ms. Williams told me that she has sent all the information that about finishing up the Dallas Academy building. She said that she had sent it to Jerry P. From word to word, but she said she dealt with, I told her this is what had happened. She said she dealt with the mayor, Terry Davis, and Sean Van Dyke. She said Ms. Williams is the one that dealt with the insurance through claim adjustment, and she told me that everything. She said Sean Van Dyke was the one. She said that Sean Van Dyke was the one that did the walkthrough, and she said everything was finished up. She gonna send me some pictures. She said she came down and she told me that about the flooring that y'all were talking. She said that was not in the report for them to do the flooring. So I told her to send me all the information so I can give the final, so me and my committee we can do the final, be through with this here, because she said she got everything laid out about the Dallas Academy, what they were supposed to be doing. And I was telling me that some of the people that were at the part of the ceremony was telling me this was supposed to be here, and she told me it's not true. And she gonna send me some pictures. She took pictures of it the way it was and what was required, you know, so we can move on. Also, I wanted to tell you about our Bird School. The question I asked you about, did you find that out?
Yeah, she said she's gonna give you a call.
HB, they gonna, are they?
I don't know, she said she's gonna give you a call.
No, I'm talking about the school, Bird School.
That's what I'm talking about, 15. She's gonna give you a call.
Oh,
Yeah.
The superintendent gave me a call about bird school today, and I told her, call Councilwoman Jackson. I didn't know what the call was about. I don't think she just, did you tell her to come?
Councilwoman Chang.
Yeah, she
Woman
called
Jackson,
me.
do you know about this?
Mm-hmm.
Do you know about them stripping?
Yeah.
Oh, you know about all that?
I got a text Tuesday or Wednesday, one of those days. But I emailed our attorney, I've been asking you consistently because we have a buyer, may have another one. And they were told that, they're actually taking the HVAC unit out, of Bird School. And so I made the city attorney aware and asked that he send a letter, to get this school turned over as is immediately, without any removal. So,
Can they do that?
right.
The school wanted to do that?
Yes.
Said the school is saying,
Oh, greedy gods, after all we've given them.
right. That
Yeah, they
wanna
wanna
take it out.
clean,
I said,
strip the
this
school.
is going to impede our ability to sell the building. You take it out, the entire unit. And so I'm hoping that this is a farce, this is a misunderstanding.
Send it to.
I've contacted Mr. Peterson myself on several occasions and the superintendent. I've been told on several different times, 2 weeks, another week, next week, we'll get it to you, yes ma'am.
Send a certified letter.
Yeah,
Well, that's what I asked the attorney to do. I mean, it was turned over back in May, they made the decision, they say that it is in their minutes in July to officially turn it back over, and here it is, November, and what they're saying is we've been trying to clean, we got a little stuff remaining in the building, little stuff remaining in the building, and they may be just siphoning off our stuff, and to hear that they may want to actually take our unit was disheartening.
Please.
Councilwoman.
So I'm hoping that's just a misunderstanding, but I don't believe so.
So the stuff in the building is probably there, including the AC. It's probably there, but I don't get why they would take it out of the building after all that we're putting into, the school system. The city of Selma owns the property. The city of Selma owns the land. Whatever they've added on to enhance, it is theirs, but I can't figure out why you would take out
No, see,
the unit.
no, the law says once there are certain things that are attached
To
and
the
all that,
building.
legally, you can't do that.
So I don't know what kind of
Cannot do
unit
that,
it
the law
is, if it's,
says.
I don't know if your units are attached or not attached. I don't know what those definitions are, but my bottom line is, I don't see why they would even attempt it. Like,
It was supposedly told in the midst of a.
why would you do that?
That's, I mean, I can't believe.
Is that the information you received?
Absolutely.
Is that the information?
that's what I received. I received the information.
Why did you ask her to call, Councilwoman? You just asked her to call?
No, I asked him about it.
I was meeting with her today at a school matter.
Okay.
And Councilwoman Thomas had called me prior to that.
Oh, she called me and I told
Yeah.
her to call you, because
Yeah,
I didn't know
I'm
she was
looking
supposed to
forward.
call Councilwoman Thompson. But when she said Bird, I said call
Yeah.
Councilwoman Jackson.
And,
Well, I sent the email yesterday morning, in the middle of a class.
and the reason why I asked Corey, because y'all say that the school, is that city property?
It
It's
is,
a reversionary clause that
Yes,
it
it is
reverts back
now.
to the city.
Okay, so if it reverts back to the city,
then it's a public
it's
building.
a public building, and
And
this
it's
is
your-
why I asked you that, why would we, if it reverts back to us, why would we allow them to come in and take that unit out?
I didn't know anything about it.
So this is why, this is the reason why I brought it to your attention.
You brought it to my attention today, 5 minutes when Dr. Avis Williams was coming into my office at the college.
Yeah.
That's why I told you to call her, but we was talking about a school matter during that time.
Okay, so can we, well, you already on it.
Yes, I've asked Attorney Woody Jones as of, let me see what time yesterday I sent that email. but
Because I
sent
didn't know
it
anything
yesterday.
about it until tonight,
Yeah.
yeah. And that's why I said, go ahead and send a
I'm a thank you,
certified
Councilwoman.
letter.
You're fine.
Cannot.
I I just
Tell
couldn't
you
believe
to include both schools, and any items that have been removed need to be returned.
Yes, and that's why I went on and brought it to us right then. And, there was one more important thing that the council needed to know too. Oh, President Bowie, so, when a situation is like this here, council member, that about our city keys, so we need to draw up how would we do this? We need to draw up, we need to get those keys back, and we need to have where, we need to do some documentation in writing.
If you get the keys back, we don't know who have the keys, the best.
What I'm saying-
thing to do is change the locks.
That's my suggestion for 2
But we've been trying to get the locks changed, we have been trying to do this for the longest, and we have not got the locks changed yet. And even our attorney said we can change the locks, but he would not do the,
Are you still asking the attorney to do the resolution?
yeah, we have to do the,
Are you still asking the attorney to do the resolution after all this time is my question?
yes, and I haven't got anywhere. He told me, he thought we couldn't do it, then he found out. He called the league, and they told him that we can do that.
We
We already know we can. do
Well,
it.
we know we can do it, but he didn't, he thought we couldn't. So he called, the league to find out, can we change the locks? And the league told him, and he was saying like, holding back, like he didn't want to get into this, you know. So, but, we need to, make it clear that those city keys don't need to be in anyone's hand, no employee hand. The clerk needs, she needs the keys. We done did this over and over, and I'm not afraid, y'all. Our keys are like a loose cannon right now into other people's hands.
Mr. President, Ken, you said the attorney that we're paying money to will start coming to the meeting. Okay, so when he comes to the meeting, we have a lot of questions. Can we go ahead and put on the consent agenda the changing of the locks, since there have been people to resign who have keys in their possession, that we can go ahead and get a quote?
Send it to me.
Text it to you from the locksmith, go ahead and get a quote to see what that is. And when the locksmith comes, can you meet him to make sure you get the keys and give a copy to, give the clerk and a copy to, Public Buildings Director, so that they both have the new keys. Can we put that on consent, please?
And make sure our clerk needs to get the, code too. You know, the code for her to get in the buildings, the code to operate, the security code, she needs the security code.
Okay. Councilwoman Jackson.
Okay, so I sent it at 9:53 a.m. yesterday. Good morning. Attorney Jones, I received the above reference message from a concerned citizen in Ward 3. We spoke previously about the need to contact the school board. Will you please send a letter, make a call, or do something to ensure the return of our building ASAP? Also, to stop the removal of any of our equipment. This is extremely serious. We have at least 2 interested buyers, and this would hamper our ability to sell at a decent price. Thank you for your immediate attention to this matter. Kind of correspondent.
Go ahead, Councilwoman.
And also, we need the gentleman, if the mayor and his secretary leave, the clerk should be the one to lock the make sure the building locked up. He should not have keys.
Well, she's gonna be the one with the keys once we change the locks.
Oh, okay, so, but I'm just saying, you know, he locks up all the time, you know, so we need,
Mr. Locksmith is to turn the keys over to us, because we're gonna contract him out. So Mr. Locksmith gives us the keys and we give it to the clerk in public buildings.
okay. I just
Anything
want,
else, Councilwoman?
that's all, I just want us.
Yeah, let's see, go ahead and email, text that to me.
May I bring up one concern about the public buildings? I had a friend to contact. You want to bring it up?
Go on after you, and then I would tell Corey what done happened.
I contacted the councilwoman over public buildings immediately. She was told that the convention center would be $750, $500 for the rental of the building, $250 for the deposit. And then she would need to get her own insurance. And I just recalled that we went back to the,
But did we do the contract?
Huh?
Did we do the contract?
Woody had had the information. This is when you don't have a attorney to come. All the information been turned over to him to do the contract up, to the mayor.
Why can't we use
They
that?
said that they're gonna do it till we get a contract.
Why can't we use our previous contract? Since everything reverted back to the previous contract.
Yeah, I mean, do it.
Don't they have those, you know, the ones they brought in here and said this contract is no longer good? You
Yeah.
said we voted, can't
Can I
you
just
just?
copy that contract?
Can I?
They have it.
I have it too, but guess what?
Just vote on that.
You know what Woody said?
What?
He said that, the mayor is saying until he gets it from Woody, that in the statement, what we voted on, to change it back, go back to where we at.
It's in the minutes.
I told him that, and
He
but
gets it from the
then,
clerk. The clerk gives him a copy of all the minutes.
he playing games with us, and this is why she's still charging the fee that we voted on and said go back to, she's still
And the
charging.
council will be voting to refund them the difference.
I told her that's what's finna happen.
$750.
Yes. They've been doing that since I don't know when, cause Woody,
I tell you what, why not just get a copy of that contract, we revert it back to, bring it to us tonight, we vote on it. and then-
okay, I got a copy
Put it
of
in the
it.
minutes.
I have a copy.
What we voting?
We
I'm talking
voted
about
to use the actual old
Old
contract.
contract, and make
We
it a
voted
policy.
to revert back
Yeah.
to the old
And
contract.
then
We
put-
never said put the
Yeah.
old contract until, I guess we
Yeah,
got.
spell it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why-
And then give us
they-
a copy of it, give, I have a copy, and make sure she put it all in the minutes
And
also.
then deliver a copy to the department head in
Yeah.
public buildings and say, this is officially the new contract voted on by the
We
council.
can put it in crown, all that stuff.
So President Wood, you're saying the language we had for the people to get their insurance, we're not gonna use that contract
No,
anymore?
the one that,
Okay, and Ms. Davis said if we go back to the old contract, we gonna have to, when those part-time, get that help, Angie, you remember?
Yeah, you already brought that up. I thought you were gonna bring that up to go on consent agenda.
Yes,
Didn't you bring it up?
I brought it up already.
Did we vote?
We voted on that. I thought we voted
I
on
don't know, we voted on.
I don't think we did.
uh,
it. We didn't vote on it,
I
but
don't recall it.
I know you were gonna bring up the,
I brought it up,
two workers.
the two workers.
You can text me that. Okay, that'll be fine, but I guess we can bring back that old.
So I bring the old contract tomorrow, and then we're gonna get her, we're gonna get the two workers
Yeah.
on a contract?
Contract.
On a contract.
We'll make
Yeah.
sure I get a copy, we make sure the post get a copy.
Yeah, because that's what happened.
Anything else?
That's all.
Councilwoman?
Yeah, Mr. President, since Madam Treasurer is back, I just wanna make sure she gets what she missed. It's a couple of things, Madam Treasurer. We were talking about the contract. Public services, can you find out from, Council Payable what they've been paying the 168 off of what, since no one knows what the contract is? Can you find out what exactly they've been paying off of?
The 168.
168 something for.
168,000.
This for the trucks, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh, for the
Pay
truck.
out the statement.
Mhm.
It pays, we get a monthly statement.
You get a monthly,
Statement.
like,
It's a bill to.
oh, yeah, like a bill, okay, but we still need that contract too. Okay, so also when you were gone, I asked, this, and you might be aware, I'm not sure if I brought it up to you before or not. But all of the can you get us the savings from all of the cell phones that were canceled? What those savings are, where they are, and also, the savings it would be when we turn off all of the other cell phones with the exception of public safety.
We turn on with the exception of public safety.
With the exception of public safety.
Okay.
Can I say one thing? I don't know. Councilwoman, while you're talking about those cell phones, I was in a class and they told me that, they, make sure they keep a record of all the cell phones and iPads, and they actually said cell phone and iPads, I'm not pointing at anyone, that they, give to council members, and they collect them back, if they
When you
leave or
leave.
they're not, reelected. And, so I've been keeping mine at the bottom of my purse in case
All right,
someone
now.
asks, for it, but, what do I need to turn this back, I mean, it doesn't
You
work.
take
and
it
I hate
over, you take it over to, the IT
How
department.
much are they? I need to pay
Cause we, you
I
know,
pay for mine.
They say you can get them for $1 a penny.
Well, I bought mine and it was like cheap. It was like $49.99.
I need to go
I purchased
find
mine,
some,
so
so I have no idea.
my phone is my phone. They just pay for the services. I brought my own phone.
Okay.
So if you know, when people leave here, let's say an officer leaves, or anybody leaves, let's say the mayor came and said, hey, I want this iPad to follow me. He can petition the council to buy it for $1 or something like that, whatever. So you want that phone.
Has to be a nominal
If
fee.
if it has no value to you, turn it over to Miss, turn it over to IT. Miss Curtis. Miss Curtis. Turn it over to IT.
That's why I wanted to get mine, cause I can't even get my email because they turn our phone off. And I have to look where Wi-Fi to check my email because it's some kind of way that phones are. But the city turn our phones off, you can't, I can't move my email from that old phone to put it onto my personal phone.
Yeah, you can.
We've been trying to
Councilwoman Tisdale,
Yeah.
who tried to show it?
Yeah.
Who tried to show it?
Password.
Who tried to show that?
and then the password, I forgot it, and.
That's the problem.
And then, we done tried everything, and we still ain't got it.
Also, too, council members, Thanksgiving is coming upon us. I think it's gonna be very incumbent that we beautify our city. A lot of visitors are gonna be in for the holidays. And I'm gonna ask that, been riding around with some of the grass growing high, ask for some of that money, Ms. Wade, to have someone to cut this grass throughout the city of Selma, and, so we can move forward with that, if that's okay with the council members.
That's fine with me.
And I'm going to
I just wanted to know, could somebody please, do something for City Hall? Remember when they used to have the beautiful flowers and, I mean, the moms during fall and,
I asked that one to get a.
Already got it.
2 months ago.
Okay.
I'll bring it to you tomorrow night. I asked.
Tomorrow night?
I meant to next Tuesday. I meant Tuesday.
I like that you talking tonight.
I meant Tuesday. I'm bringing it. I'll bring it to y'all Tuesday, the court that, can make our city back beautiful. Landscape. I got someone.
Also, too, could you have someone talking about landscaping, the entrance where Selma?
All the way down.
You know, it needs to
It's
be.
four.
Yeah.
Four
Gate-
main
the
thoroughfares.
gateway.
It needs to be cut.
Yes.
Go
I
ahead.
had one more thing
Go ahead.
that was, one more thing that was on our list. And I don't think this is for Ms. Wade, it's probably for Chief, but he's gone, Mr. President. Can you, with those who have resigned, left, or however it is, they went by the wayside, can you find out the return of property, what has been returned? All right, I'm hearing that we have return on shotgun, badge, and gun.
Oh, yeah.
And,
Man,
and I need to see if that's been.
I can tell you what,
And I gave you
I tell you what, I'm gonna bring him up Tuesday night.
Bad, what bad?
He had a police badge.
I'm gonna bring him up Tuesday
Well, I
night.
didn't call a name,
Oh,
I called property.
Okay, I'm sorry.
I'm gonna bring him up Tuesday night, and you better put on your seatbelt.
Can
I
you
just
bring
put
the
it right
chief
there.
up and also while you're doing that, y'all passing resolutions and stuff?
You better put on your seatbelt. Go
Okay,
ahead.
while she's doing that. Also, now she would be cursing me out about doing it while she was talking.
Go ahead.
Don't be hitting on me.
Go ahead.
And also, while you bringing the chief up, ask him to also research those purchases that were made by money order through the police department, without our consent. Would you find out what those items were that were purchased by way of money order? And find out about the shotgun,
And also
the
the
gun, the
surveillance
bag.
equipment and all that.
Would you please find that
Oh,
out?
no, I'm gonna let him talk.
Would you please bring him up to talk?
He's of an age, he can speak for himself.
Okay, thank you so much.
So he'll be here Tuesday night.
Thank you.
And will we be able to cancel that contract that we don't need, we releasing? We found it, we
We'll find out
found the
about it.
resolution in.
We'll find out about it. Ooh, God.
Speaking of spiffy and other things, I have finally gotten, somebody to give me the information about on Medical Center Parkway, you know, that stuff's been needing to be done for a long time. I've gotten more complaints and calls on that. And some trees have to be trimmed back because of safety, you know, over that bridge. And, also, since we have a business, a manufacturing business down there, they had asked me, because they had trucks going in there, there were some trees that were overhanging that need to be cut down. So I got some from Ronnie Terry's lawn service. I got, some things and I've got 3 different things. I've got the contracts done up, but they're at home because I came directly here, right in, coming from Gadsden to the school where I was. But I just have them Tuesday night.
That's fine.
But I have to get approved, so I'll bring the
I
contracts.
bring the contract up also
Okay.
about the grass cutting throughout the
Are you
city.
still doing the tree lighting?
Oh, tomorrow at, what time did I say? 2 o'clock, at 2 o'clock, the women of the council and,
You got the decoration?
we're gonna have a meeting about a Christmas program, tree lighting for the city, because we're gonna handle that.
Gender discrimination.
You can come too.
All are welcome.
You can come too.
I'm
I'll
just
teach you where.
joking. Yeah. Hey, I'll be there.
Maybe.
Just one last thing, if any council members, have any, trees in the area that still need to be cut, I contacted Ms. Wade on last week and she made me aware of how much money that we have in that, line item, because I actually got a call when I was at my conference
You said
last.
tree trimming or tree cutting?
Tree cutting or trimming. I got a call last week that one of the trees that's been reported several times, they can't get mad at me because I reported it this summer, to Public Works. Fell on the
That's
hill.
on Parkman?
On McLeod
Yes.
and Young. And, but fell on what's that, Montgomery? It's somewhere down. But, it's at the end of Young, down on Old, Ice Outside. But, it actually fell on a person's vehicle and they sent me a picture. And so, I've contacted Denmark, and after speaking with Ms. Wade to see if we had money, what I need to do. So I know I got 3, I've identified 3. I don't mind coordinating and sending them a spreadsheet of all your trees and say, if this needs to be trimmed at the street, this needs to be cut back, and just let me know and we'll go from there.
Ronetta, can you come to the meeting tomorrow too?
I won't be here.
So if you all just let me know, I get it, then I bring it before the council to say exactly how much it is. If it's enough that we need to bid it out, we'll do that. If it's not, we'll move forward.
Councilwoman Thomas, did we-
And I got a contract I need for you to get approved. I bring,
You doing the bottom? I'm good.
that's how I got a contract because I need to do, in my area, a lot of buses been coming, tours, been here, it's been so many buses, y'all. And, Councilwoman, Youngblood, when are you gonna do the contract to open the Welcome Center up?
We voted.
We voted for it. but-
Yes, I will do it, I will do it tomorrow, I will have it.
Because we can be open to making this money, cause, I was amazed to see all these people came in
All right,
town.
I know that we voted to, but I need to find out what we're gonna do about the paying, because Henry, I need to find out what Henry recommended to pay the people. So, because I
Remember what?
recommend.
It's in there, they already got that money there.
It's just over minimum.
Well,
It's in
but
the
like
budget.
for Saturday and Sunday, yeah, I don't think I should make more being open on Saturday and Sunday.
I
But
don't-
whatever y'all think.
I don't really think it needs to be open all week. Maybe third, sixth or something. And then it probably could be a higher rate.
Oh, baby, I don't know what's going on, we've been getting a lot of tours here.
Anything else? Okay.
That's all, as long as I get my stuff.
Councilwoman, send me that. Consent agenda.
okay.
Take certificate.
Okay.
Councilman Shields said something, I can't remember what it was. Put on the consent agenda.
All right, I would just do the contract and I would just leave the salaries, like I'll just say to be determined or to
Oh,
be
here goes the-
negotiated.
All right.
Okay.
Hey, can you tell me?
How many young blood?
How much we have in that?
All right, let me give you this so we can,
For everything.
for Andy.
Your mic